There is a reason why some people work hard their entire lives and still remain stuck in the same place. Meanwhile, others seem to build wealth, opportunities, and freedom almost effortlessly, not because they are smarter, not because they are luckier, but because they discovered an ancient principle that most people ignore every single day. A principle so powerful that it transformed slaves into philosophers, warriors into leaders, and ordinary men into legends. And the most shocking part? You are probably doing the exact opposite right now without even realizing it. Before we continue, I want to know one thing. What city are you watching from? Let me know in the comments, and answer this question too. Do you believe wealth comes from luck or discipline? And if you believe knowledge can change a life, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Because those who fail to appreciate small opportunities are rarely prepared to receive bigger ones. Now pay close attention, because what you're about to hear is not a magic formula to get rich. It's something far more powerful. It's a way of thinking that allowed some people to build wealth while others remained trapped in an endless cycle of frustration. Imagine a cold morning in ancient Rome. The sun had barely risen. The stone streets were covered in a thin layer of fog. Merchants were opening their shops. Soldiers marched through the city. And somewhere inside a massive palace, the most powerful man in the world was waking up to face another day. His name was Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, ruler of millions, owner of unimaginable wealth. But there was something unusual about him. Marcus Aurelius did not spend his days thinking about money. He did not spend his nights calculating how to accumulate more wealth. In fact, he believed that true fortune was something entirely different, something invisible, something nobody could steal, something not even war could destroy. Discipline. And this is where the story becomes interesting, because most people believe they need success before they become disciplined. The Stoics believed the exact opposite. First comes discipline, then comes everything else, and that small difference changes entire destinies. Think about how many times you've made promises to yourself. I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm going to save money. I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to start that project. I'm going to change my life. But then the next day arrives and nothing happens. The promise disappears. The motivation disappears. The energy disappears. And slowly life continues exactly the same. Now imagine repeating that cycle for years, for decades. Imagine how many opportunities disappear, how many dreams die silently, how many possibilities never become reality. Most people do not fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they cannot win the small battles they face every day. And there is a reason for that. Modern society has turned comfort into an obsession. Everything is instant, everything is fast, everything must be easy. Food in minutes, entertainment in seconds, immediate answers, instant pleasure. But there is a hidden cost. The more comfort you seek, the less resilience you develop. The less resilience you develop, the harder it becomes to face challenges. And the harder it becomes to face challenges, the less capable you become of building something lasting. This is exactly what Seneca realized nearly 2,000 years ago. He was extremely wealthy, far wealthier than most people imagine. Yet despite having enormous riches, he practiced strange exercises. Some nights he slept on the floor. He wore simple clothes. He ate modest meals. People thought it was absurd. But there was a reason. Seneca was training his mind not to depend on comfort, because he understood something very few people understand. Those who depend on comfort become slaves to it, and slaves rarely achieve financial freedom. But here is the part almost nobody realizes. Discipline does not mean suffering for no reason. It does not mean living a miserable life. Discipline means doing what must be done even when your emotions tell you otherwise, and that changes everything. because emotions are temporary, results are permanent. Think about great investors, successful entrepreneurs, elite athletes. Almost all of them share one thing in common. They learned how to act regardless of motivation. They don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "What needs to be done?" And that's simple. Shift in mindset creates an enormous gap between those who move forward and those who remain stuck. But there is an even more dangerous enemy, an invisible one, a silent one that destroys more dreams than any economic crisis ever could. Instant gratification. Imagine two people receiving exactly the same amount of money. The first spends it immediately, seeking quick pleasure, instant satisfaction, short-term rewards. The second thinks differently. They give up small rewards today in order to build something bigger tomorrow. At first, they seem identical, but a few years later, their lives look completely different. And that happens because wealth is not only a financial issue, it is an emotional issue. The ability to delay gratification, to endure discomfort, to think long-term. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus was born a slave. He had no wealth, no status, no power, but he possessed something much rarer, control over himself, and he taught a simple idea. Those who cannot control themselves will never control their lives. Stop for a moment and think about that. How many people want to become wealthy but cannot control their impulses? They want to build assets but cannot control their spending. They want career growth, but cannot control procrastination. They want a better life, but cannot control their habits. It's like trying to build a castle on sand. Sooner or later, everything collapses. And then something interesting happens. Most people blame the government, the economy, bad luck, their circumstances, anything, except the one thing they could actually change: themselves. This is one of the hardest truths of Stoicism. Responsibility is heavy, but it is also liberating, because the moment you take responsibility for your life, you regain power. And power creates action. Action creates results. Results create confidence. Confidence creates growth. But wait, there is something even more important, because even disciplined people experience failure. Even strong people face setbacks. Even intelligent people make mistakes. The difference is not avoiding failure. The difference is continuing after it. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plagues, betrayals, losses, problems that would emotionally destroy most people. Yet he kept moving forward, not because he was invincible, but because he understood a fundamental truth. You cannot control everything that happens, but you can control how you respond to what happens. And that may be the most valuable skill for anyone who wants to build a better life. Because true wealth is not born from luck. It is born from the ability to stay consistent when nobody is watching. It is born from the ability to keep going when the results have not appeared yet. It is born from the ability to remain disciplined even when quitting would be easier. And this is exactly where most people give up. They want quick results. But the greatest transformations happen slowly, almost invisibly, like a tree growing, like a mountain being formed, like a fortune built over many years. At first, nobody notices, then everyone wonders how it happened so quickly. But it wasn't quick. It was accumulated discipline, day after day, week after week, year after year, and maybe that's exactly what you needed to hear today. Maybe you're waiting for some huge opportunity to change your life. Maybe you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, the perfect conditions. But the Stoics taught something different. They taught that a person's destiny is rarely defined by big moments. It is defined by small decisions repeated every day. Wake up or hit snooze, save or spend, learn or waste time, act or procrastinate. These choices seem insignificant, but together they create completely different futures. So here is the final question. If 5 years from now your life looks exactly the same as it does today, would you be satisfied? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to stop searching for secrets outside yourself, because the real secret has always been inside you. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when it's difficult, even when nobody is watching, even when there is no guarantee of reward. This is the discipline that transformed emperors. This is the discipline that built empires. This is the discipline that can transform your financial life. And when you finally understand that, you will realize something profound. Wealth never begins with money. It begins with the mind. Because a disciplined man can lose everything and rebuild, but a man without discipline can receive everything and lose it. In the end, it is not the size of your bank account that determines your future. It is the strength of your mind. And when your mind becomes unbreakable, your possibilities become almost limitless. If you want to continue strengthening your mind and discover the Stoic truths that few people have the courage to face, watch the next video appearing on your screen right now.